Hello and welcome back to Let's Play the Waylanders with me, BringItDon. So I reloaded an old save to fix the bug we ran across last episode when we went into the Gorgon's head. Then after doing that, it wouldn't let me go through here at first. I'm not sure how it fixed itself. I was looking up to see if other people had the same issue, and when I went back into the game, it was fixed, so... let's go.
You must hurry. The forces of Tiana and the Seer will not be able to hold that army unaided much longer.
Good, pop that. Get your shield up, buddy. Go ahead and make sure he doesn't go down. Oh, actually, I should be taunting. I guess I throw out a heal as well. Well, heal yourself instead. I was getting drawn to fight after fight. Alright, looks like we finally get a breather. Let's heal up and... get ready to boogie. Alright, he's at full health. Let's backtrack and grab all that loot we left behind. And not that we need it. I could leave it behind and it wouldn't make a difference. But I like my loot. Alright, looks like this area is now clear. We're gonna loot everything in peace. At least that's what I'm hoping. Pulled all the way over here for a fight. Still have loot all the way back here to grab. Again, we're still getting more, well, technically upgrades, but they're not actually better until we can slot them with gems, which we can't do on the run. I'm still not sure why they're giving us all this loot. Unless we do go back to the Vengeance. But this feels very final, right? This is a very Final Quest vibe. How's a bear back here? Sorry, buddy. Nah, I could have left him well enough alone, but... What's done is done. Alright guys, let's dance. Seriously though, Barrett is a little murder machine. Put in so much work. What's his crit chance? I know it's high. Oh, where's it at? 90% chance, and then with that ability, it goes up by 25%, so he gets over 100% chance to crit when that's active. Hey there, buddy. I think at this point, turning on auto loop might be the way to go. Especially since most of the stuff is just getting sent back to our stash anyway. And that'll speed this up a little bit. We can go up and around if we wanted to, but why would we? Oh. Okay. I keep forgetting that that one ability has range on it. What's it called? Mortal area? I'd actually prefer if it was treated as a melee attack, because I want my main character to get close, so he can use his taunt, because the taunt doesn't have a lot of range. Uh-oh. Seriously, man, that one ability just tanks my frame rate. I don't understand why auto loop doesn't necessarily show what you pick up on the ground. I mean, I prefer if it did still. Because it really doesn't matter till you go back to the Vengeance and can slot to the gems in your new equipment either way. But I'd still like to see what we pick up with auto loot, just so I know what to look for when we do go back to the Vengeance and start digging through my stash. Oh, see loot right there. Grab that on the way back through. Since we're technically backtracking right now. Whoops, like, alright, I'm just gonna go keep fighting. Well, I guess he was on aggressive, that makes sense. I would think that would increase the threat range because the companion set to average still chase after enemies, it's just auto attack. This still would make sense why the wolf is chasing down enemies off in the distance and the rest of my companions aren't. There was like a pixel, there it is. We can't reach it. Okay. Really not squeeze back there? I cannot. Well, that's disappointing. But pretty par for the course. Alright, I guess we're just gonna keep charging forward. Really? I'm touching it. Okay, well. That's okay. Really don't need it at this point. Just want to tell myself to get over it. So is that two different Urkos? Or is that something else? I'm pretty sure that effect is supposed to be on top of his eyes. Could be wrong. So why is this reinforced like that? Stay away from my rocks. Unknown location.
This is not the time or place to discuss this. When the battle is over, we will talk about who has or does not have rights.
No one except me has rights to anything. Listen, I never wanted this responsibility. But, what do you think, Mill? I hope you will support me when I claim the throne.
I mean, I don't know either one of them well enough to actually make this decision. Yeah, you should govern together. Let her rule and ask for her hand. Elected by the people, I'm going to join Lugade. Bring all of our followers together to become one single army. This is unexpected. Not imagine being a consort in decision making. However, I realize that her supporters would not stand for her to take a back seat. Oman will be content for me to say, I admire your humility in giving in for the good of the people. I promise you that our decisions will be consensual, and I assure you that you will not regret this decision. She's about to cry. Her lips are trembling. I know she was my romantic interest, but I really don't have any commitment to her. Hey, it's this guy. Haven't seen him since the beginning of the game, when he attacked us. All right. Did my armor just change twice? What sort of advice am I giving her? Like, what am I whispering to her?
We have triumphed! We have overcome corruption! The siege of our own leader! The monsters and the magical beasts! Today, we have endured together! I extend my hand to Lugade to support my candidacy before all of you, as our legend Millispain has done. Seer, I thank you for your help and would love to receive your blessing as our traditions command. But from today forward, magic will be Otherworld's business. Destiny will be ours to rule for the freedom of Caltia! And together is how we will rebuild this. I want to let you all know that there will be no dispute for the throne, because in addition to receiving the support of Millispain, Lugade himself has asked for my hand, and I have decided to accept. We will rule united, as our people will be united, for a united Caltia!
Hey, back to the Vengeance. I didn't think we were going to go back here.
I don't know how much knowledge I will amass over the next few centuries, But with what has happened and what I know from you, there is only one place from which I can continue to carry out my plan. The Cave of Eternity. We'll have to go there and face it. Mill, if you need any supplies, buy equipment, or attend to any tasks, now is the time. We will not go back once we go to meet my future self.
That's usually how time travel works. It only moves in one direction. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm gonna quick save, and we're just gonna go straight there. I think my equipment's good enough. All the bosses have been jokes the past few quests. Let's see. How's a Compostela? Okay. So we have to go to the future for this? Is that my understanding? Yep. Hope the frame rate fixes itself here. Otherwise the final confrontation is going to look a little janky.
Come, all of you, my faithful people, for as of today, this holy cathedral will see its grandiose work completed. Its 12 crosses will be consecrated, and we will rejoice before the corpse of a true apostle of Christ, to whom we come pointed out by the stars of heaven.
And now to the Cave of Eternity?
It is interesting. Instead of walking to the Medulus, you could have come directly to Compostela to try to stop me. I would not have had enough time, and it is likely that between all of you, you would have stopped me. That's your problem. You always want to save everyone. No sacrifice. No one behind.
Yeah, stop Amergin. Let's talk. You can still make the right decision.
If you say that, it is because you have not seen, as I have, how any of your decisions will make ripples that will affect other things in the future. If the murderer you let get away has children, and years later his great-grandson makes a cure for a disease that saves thousands of people, then imprisoning or killing him may have been the right thing to do at the time. But is it the right decision in the long run?
Some utilitarianism. Nice passage.
When the construction of this city started, I manipulated some people to leave some passages to my sacred places. I wasn't going to let them just bury them.
No one has to die.
That is the wrong perspective of a time traveler. They are already dead. I'm just trying to save them dying now. I will gladly see to it that hundreds of thousands are not born or die as long as our culture does not disappear. They will not exist, but thousands of our people will take their place.
You plan to use that corrupted magic on yourself, like the group we found in the cave in the past.
No, not at all. I have no interest in amassing more dark power than I already have. My intentions are much more explosive.
Mill, this place is a crossroads, a nexus of dimensions that is present at the same time in every timeline. If he blows that up here, he will shatter the foundations on which the cathedral stands, and damage the sacred tree of Dunius, as well as killing himself.
That's the plot point of Justice League Crisis on Two Earths. But what are the consequences for Dunios?
What is sacred to us is the place. If the tree is damaged, it may even ensure that the cathedral will never be built, because without its wood and the stone from the necropolis, they will be forced to erect it elsewhere. One way or another, victory will be mine.
Well... Okay, enough talking. We'll allow you to do this.
I've had plenty of time to prepare for your arrival. I have not planned this for centuries to lose now. I bring you an old friend. He's not what he once was, but this time he has me by his side, standing.
Man, I killed him. Did I not? Alright. Gonna get him out of the way. This dragon has AoE stuff. We don't want to deal with that. Ring of Restoration here. Let's see. Well, that was easy.
No. In this cave, my power is nourished by time itself. I am the greatest sorcerer there ever was. I defeated the Tuatha and raised Camelot. Let us see how you endure being everywhere and nowhere at once.
Alright, so that's what happened to Tuatha. We knew that Lug was killed, or at least finished off. Well, I guess you guys don't know that because I didn't show off the quest. So Maria's quest, when I tried completing it, she explains that she ate Lug's heart, officially killing him, and that's why she turned into the humanoid shape. So Amergin finished off the Tuatha, taking care of the Celtic gods, and then he erected Camelot, so he's also Merlin. Amergin, Merlin, okay, I can see that. That's fine. It's most of our damage, but as long as my main character's alive, we should be okay. Alright, so I don't know what these do. I'm gonna click on them anyway and see what happens. Sort of bite attack, and I don't know what that does. There we go. Easy peasy. Well, except for Barrett.
Cathedral. You've distracted me for too long. Damn you for making me come to this.
Dad!
You will have to choose. Either defend Brigantia from the greatest horror that corruption can create, or stay here to fight me.
Mill, you must go and stop my father. The amount of corruption Amergin has sent him, he will be mad with grief and kill everything in front of him. Leave your group here. We'll take care of Amergin while you hold my father. Sweet, we get to actually use all of our companions. Yeah, you're right. There's no other option. We'll split up and fight on two fronts. Alright, who do you want to lead the team that stays here? I have Brig lead, I think. I can find her. Where is... Well, that'd be neat. But no, let's do this instead. Where is... Oh, it's just Madalena. It's Madalena, you led the armies of Tiana. Hope you can now lead this group. As you wake my memories, it's like yesterday for me. Don't worry, I'll lead them like the elite team they are. Choose whoever you want to accompany you, and the rest of us will stick with the leader you have chosen to stand up to Amergin. Alright, my companions, I'll probably keep the same ones. The rest of them should be able to handle the fight with Amergin. We are not in great shape. I'm gonna pull everybody back and try and heal up real fast. Now we should be all set. I'll throw in a quick save and aggressive, average, average, average. Let's do it. Was that it? I didn't even look at his health. It's probably for the best we didn't send Delba to fight her own father. Oh, we didn't actually get to fight him with the other team?
I sought immortality out of a fear of my own death. But I found that the death of my loved ones was far more terrible to me. You, Taliesin, Arthur. I'm glad I'm not the one who sees you off this time. It's funny, but after so much advice, the last piece is one I give myself. Be happy, Amergin. You're going to meet amazing people. And don't be afraid of this moment, because when it comes, you'll be at peace.
The marriage of Tiana and Lugade brought lasting peace to Caltia. While she took on more direct duties of government, he became a kind of diplomat, forging alliances with nearby villages and magical creatures. Despite everything, no love ever arose between them, and they simply respected their positions for the good of the people. Caltia shone, and when the Roman invasion came, it became a nightmare that they never managed to conquer completely. The bloodbath was incessant, and in the last battle of Mount Medu, the last Celtic soldiers preferred to commit suicide than give up their land.
Okay, I'm gonna give my thoughts on the game, which are plentiful. I find that I have less to say about games that I really enjoyed, and then games like this I tend to have a lot more to say. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy the game, but it had its fair share of problems, as you saw. I don't want to talk about the technical issues too much because that's something that can be fixed, like the text for abilities not showing up, the quest text also not showing up. Some of the minor issues like going to the tavern and leaving and it reset the Great Market during the final quest of all times. Like the game has a few bugs, but again, those can be fixed. And my biggest grievance with the game is the writing. And not the like modern dialogue. I've seen a lot of people complain about that since the game's release. I don't mind that so much. I think it gives the game a unique sort of charm. And the game is charming. Definitely has its own charm. It's got a good soundtrack. It's a very pretty game. Like the designs of the characters and everything. The animations of the characters are also mostly well done, except for some of the mouth animations are a little goofy. Like the eye expressions. My character had some good animations. Except for the occasional T-posing. The developer themselves said that they pulled a lot of inspiration from Dragon Age Origins, and you can see that in the game. Almost in every aspect. Even the way like the overworld map works, and you go to each location, you do a quest, and it's kind of like a linear location whenever you go to one of the nodes on the world map. They even had an advanced class system, similar to Origins, except for you don't have to like find it and unlock it, you just get it on leveling up. And that's neat. Companion system, I think the companions could be expanded on. I think that's one of the weaknesses of the game. The writing in general is the weakest part of the game. So with Origins, what really tied everything together was the writing. There was a reactivity to what the player was doing. NPCs would recognize like the order you did quests in. Your companions would chime in more often and either condemn or praise your decisions. You didn't have a lot of that here. In fact, a lot of the story is just very disconnected. So when you first start out, you exit the underworld after coming back to life. You leave Amergin's home and they talk about the Civil War and the corruption. So very similar to Skyrim in that regard, how you have these two major plot points. You have the Civil War, like in Skyrim, the Imperials and Stormcloaks, and then the world-ending threat, which is Alduin. And then for this game, you have the Civil War between Tarlok and Lugade, and then the corruption, which is the world-ending threat. They make it sound like you have to make a choice which one you're going to prioritize and do first, which isn't really a choice. You do either one in whatever order, and there's no reaction to it. In fact, the Civil War storyline is basically non-existent. You go do one quest for Lugade after getting attacked by Tarlok, and then Tarlok doesn't show up till the end of the game. And nothing feels cohesive. Like everything's just so disconnected. You go do a quest here, you go do a quest there, and there's no reactivity to what you're doing. Then even the conversations themselves, like in a single conversation, it feels so disjointed. Like you and the NPCs aren't necessarily on the same page. And I don't know, they need to tie it together. I think adding the time travel mechanic, because you barely use it. You go into the future at one point, and then you only have to go back in time for, well, I guess the main quest, you have to go back and talk to Amergin. Then you go back for Barrett's quest, which was bugged anyway, couldn't complete it. And then you get forced to go back in time during the final mission, or final quest. And that was it. I don't know, I feel like they really could have tidied up the narrative and made like a better, more cohesive story. had they just focused on one era, just stuck with the Celtic period, because that's cool. I mean, the whole setting is neat. You don't see a lot of Celtic mythology really in any media. So again, they had a really cool premise, but I think they got a little idea happy, tried to implement too many ideas, like, oh hey, let's have a Celtic game. Okay, that's cool. What about if we add all these advanced classes and companions? Okay, that's fine. Let's add time traveling and, you know, the 1500s. Let's take them to Spain. And I just feel like they should have focused on one era, made just a better narrative. Because a game like this, I think, really rides on the story. And this story just... I don't know if they can fix it, because you can fix all the technical issues. Those will come out in patches. They have a roadmap out showing what they're going to fix and what they're going to prioritize. But the writing is a part of the game. That's going to be harder to go back and fix unless they just want to redo it. So again, that's my biggest complaint. I don't like not being able to complete all the quests, especially companion quests. That's a big part of it. I also feel like some of the classes got more favoritism than others. So the Ranger got rewarded a ton. For a lot of the quests you complete, the Ranger will get a new animal companion. Other classes don't really get that. The two caster classes both get a unique staff or rod. There's the Rod of the Dead and the Gates Eye Staff, I think, from Nazedge's quest. But none of the other classes get any sort of particular attention paid to them. They don't get anything unique. Unless it was locked behind the quest I couldn't complete, of course. I mean, that's more of a minor gripe. I think just the overall narrative could have been tidied up, and we could have had a wonderful game. As it stands now, I'm a little disappointed. It started off pretty strong. I really enjoyed it, and then after that time travel point, like we hit like that midway point, it kind of fell apart at the seams. Both the technical issues and the writing got worse. It was already kind of disjointed to begin with. But I was hoping they were going to tie it all together. And they really didn't do that until that final quest, and I'm pretty sure Lugade and Zarian would have showed up in the final quest, regardless if you had done their quest for them or not. So, and there was one ending slide. There was no ending slides for your companions or anything. It just felt anticlimactic. I don't know. A lot of promise. I mean, every game has a lot of promise, but this one I felt like had a lot of promise, despite the redundancy there. And it just didn't deliver. Oh well, that's it for this game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, or at least enjoyed watching me play through it. Thanks for joining me on another adventure. Hope to see you guys in the next Let's Play.